In today's video, I want to talk about the value of forgetting. When you're a child and have very few life experiences, memory is so important to your progress. In school, memory is such a fundamental, important part of school. So you have to remember your alphabet and how to read, how to write. You have to remember the geography, where countries are. If you're in high school, memory is so important because all of your homework is based on remembering things and all of your testing. So you have to remember. And if you only have 10 years of memories, you want to call on as many of those memories as possible as can help you, which is a lot. It's a large fraction of them. Then as you age, you start to have more and more memories. How many of these do you need to keep? It turns out you don't need that many. So if you're 80 years old, you can probably get by with only a small fraction of memories. So you don't really need to remember everything. And I'm not suggesting that you forget things that are uncomfortable. If you've had some trauma that you've worked through, that's probably something that's helped create you the way you are. And I'm not suggesting to get rid of that type of stuff. For me, I know that a lot of my growth happens when I fail. And when I fail at things I think I should do better at. So I fail at something and I feel ashamed of myself. That's a growth experience for me. Failure to me is a part of the growth process. Or for me, if I'm trying to succeed at anything, I know I'm going to fail along the way to that success. So I'm not suggesting you get rid of memories just because they're uncomfortable. I am suggesting thinking about getting rid of memories that aren't contributing to you in any way. And an analogy, maybe some of you won't like this analogy, maybe some of you will like it. So an analogy is you buy a brand new computer that has an empty hard drive. And when you first buy that computer, everything's working perfectly. And then you slowly over time fill up that hard drive with photos and videos and movies and documents of every sort. And then that hard drive, once it's full, man, your computer is bloated. It's not working very quickly. There's a lot more viruses on it, so it's working poorly. Maybe it's not even functioning at all. And then when you start trying to delete files, you're having a hard time wading through it because it's not even organized. And so our brains aren't hard drives. But if you take that analogy for a second, a 10-year-old's brain is more like a fairly new hard drive that has some stuff stored on it. Whereas an 80-year-old's brain might be a little bit more like that fairly full hard drive that has tons of memories in there and not necessarily very well organized. And so as you're going through trying to get rid of some files to make room, it actually turns into quite a project. And there are lots of scientists now discovering that as you age, forgetting is starting to become more important. So when you're young, remembering is very important. So this video is not for the youth. Hey, remember as much as you can that can be helpful to you. But as you age, it is suggested that forgetting starts to become more and more important. There is a class of individuals who cannot forget things. They remember everything. And as they age, their brain it's very challenging to be them because they just remember everything. And it's a disorder. So that's the extreme of remembering stuff, is you remember too much and it just becomes overwhelming. And that might be what it's like for some 80-year-olds because they have 80 years worth of memories. So when you on your way to getting 80, and I'm 45 now, and so I'm realizing shifting that mindset from trying to remember everything to now maybe I'm trying to organize my memory a little bit so that I can forget stuff. And a strategy that some scientists propose for forgetting is to take a memory that's not that important to you. And let's say it's a story that someone just told you of their trip to Las Vegas, and it's just not a story that resonated with you. So most of the details they gave you, they told you the car they drove in, they told you where they stayed, they told you details that you don't really need to remember. So strategy for forgetting those is actually to remember that story, but then not focus too hard on the details. So you remember vaguely the car and then you let it go. And that's one strategy that works for some people for forgetting. And a strategy that I'm focused on is I'm very good at remembering people's names. People's names seem to be very important. And one way to do that is just to use their name frequently. And so that helps me remember their name. Similarly, if they tell me information that I'm not that concerned about, I won't ask for clarification, and I'll just let my mind relax a little bit, because I'll recognize this isn't information that I'm going to use later or need later. So I can selectively choose in the moment whether I want to remember something or allow myself to forget it. And sometimes that's actively deciding, is this information that I want to remember? What I've noticed is that some people are a little caught off guard that I've forgotten some detail that they've told me, because I used to remember absolutely everything and I prided myself on it. And so now I'm shifting to this forgetting mode, and I will remember important details still, but now that I'm letting some details go, people are caught off guard. Like, Sam, usually you would remember that. And I'm celebrating that I'm able to forget, because when I get to 80, I want to have plenty of my mental capacity left so that I can create new memories and not be so stuck in the past 80 years of memories, but have basically a well-organized and only partially full hard drive, for the analogy. I want my brain to be elastic, and I want it to be able to create new memories and store new memories and not be so frozen and clogged up with 80 years of unimportant memories. So I've bought into this hook, line, and sinker. I'm not suggesting you do. I just wanted to plant the idea in your brain that as you're young, of course, memory is important. It's very critical. But as you age, recognizing that, hey, all these, you're still being force-fed, if you look at media, that remembering is so important, but there is a larger body of professionals and scientists who are starting to realize that forgetting actually might become more and more important as you age. And I'm pretty excited about experimenting with this, and so far I've been pretty pleased with the results. If you enjoyed anything about this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want more videos. And of course, comments are always welcome. It helps me understand what people are interested in my videos, or maybe what people are interested in otherwise. Thank you very much.